all living in a world gone geek. It's time to geek hard or go home. The podcast is real. Here's your host, Grounded Geek.
Hey everybody, my camera battery exhausted. What do you know? It's one of those things. It's one of those things where it wouldn't be a World Gone Geek show if there weren't technical difficulties. That's true. So here's what I'm going to do. Right away, I'm just going to go ahead and bring up Utah and Aaliyah. Welcome to the show, guys. This is great.
Greetings, program.
Hello.
Oh my gosh, Jeff, Jeff, you are a slave driver if their battery's exhausted. Come on, give your battery a break.
That's pretty terrible.
I thought that was a joke. I was like, what is this? Is this a new thing?
Real. And that happened
amazing.
right when we went live, of course.
Of course it did. That's so
I'll
funny because, you were doing the memory card thing for a little while earlier. So
I know. So, yeah, if you're just tuning in for the first time, this isn't unusual. This is par for the course.
So Jeff lost power, so he doesn't have any lights, which is why we can't see him, but we can hear him.
Yeah, hold on. All right, I gotta get the right cord. I'm just gonna put a new battery in. I was gonna plug it in, but I can't find the cord. I took the cord out to go to. See, the great thing is this comes out as a podcast. Thank God, most of our audience is a podcast audience
because they're not seeing. They're not seeing this classic World Gone Geek.
But I was at the Cleveland Gaming Classic yesterday, which is a convention here in Cleveland. It's all about games, video games. And so there's video game developers there. There's the whole arcade setup. It's really cool. It's an awesome convention. And that's where I took the cord because I was doing video and filming there.
We can see the excitement in your face as you're talking about it.
I know, right? So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to let you two talk while I change the battery real quick.
Oh, okay. Well, sure. That's amazing. It's hilarious.
Utah and Aaliyah after Jeff is gone.
Yeah, this is what we do when Jeff leaves. We just talk about him. No, I'm just kidding. I'm excited. Aaliyah, so I have a question for you.
Yes.
Do you know what a Tamagotchi is?
Yes.
You do?
It's like one of those little like handheld.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. So yeah. I swear I thought you might not know what those are. Did you have your own? Did you actually have one ever or?
I did, but I don't think I.
Oh my God! The battery took away Jeff. Oh, there he is.
Yes, there he is.
Because I'm so excited. This arrived in the mail today.
What?
It's my R2D2 time. Okay, now we can see Jeff and we can't hear him. I love it.
I saw that announced. No, I just forgot to turn the microphone back. I turned the microphone off because I didn't want to hear me going over here and doing all this stuff.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, now better watch out. Watch out about your battery.
Fine. It's fine.
What is going on?
Oh my gosh.
Love it.
It wouldn't be a World Gone Geek show if there weren't technical difficulties. Right. I had to make that a soundbite.
And Aaliyah, what do you got to say about that?
I think that is so neat. Wait, which part? The Tamagotchi or the battery? Because the battery is very normal. The Tamagotchi is so cool.
Utah, for the benefit of our podcast audience, explain what you have in your hand right now.
Oh, all right. So back in, what was it? Would have been the 90s?
90s, yes.
It would have been in the 90s. They had these little basically keychain battery operated I don't know. I guess it's a little game. It's called a Tamagotchi. It's basically a virtual pet. So you've got a virtual pet on this little monochrome 8-bit screen, and you would have to feed it and play with it and, basically interact with it like a real pet, except it's virtual, it's digital, and you just have it on your keychain. And they had different types of pets back then, but they announced earlier this year that Bandai was going to come out with a Star Wars one, and it's an R2D2 Tamagotchi. It's pretty awesome. I can't wait to open them up and start not taking care of them because I'm awful at taking care of them.
Oh, I know, right?
That's what I was going to say. I know I had some, but they definitely died.
There's a collector out there who literally almost had a heart attack when you said you're going to open that. Just so you know.
That's true.
I'm the same way. I buy those things. I want to play with them. That's why I get that stuff.
I'm sorry. I guess I could have
bought. Are all just lined up there. There's no boxes anymore.
Out of the box.
I want to see them. Yeah, I'm not worried about that.
I could have pulled a Sheldon and got two, I guess. But I'm sorry. I could have pulled a Sheldon and bought two, right? Keep one in the box and play with the other. But
you didn't do that.
I'm not as rich as Sheldon. I'm sorry. I'm not like some astrophysicist that,
I thought you were.
Crazy.
No, only when I stay at a Holiday Inn Express.
I want to tell you about this Cleveland Gaming Classic real quick. That's what I was going to do. That was perfect that you brought that up at that time. So I appreciate it. And now I want one really bad. I'm going to have to go see if they still.
They've got two versions. They've got like a solid blue and white one, and this one is kind of translucent, so you kind of see through the blue.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm going to set that aside and wake him up later.
All right, Aaliyah's about to say something now. You don't want to.
Yeah, I was actually going to.
Whenever you lean forward like that, I'm like, Aaliyah's about to speak. Everyone.
I was going to say, every time that Utah comes on, he has a different gadget, toy, something like this. This needs to be a sequence or a segment, like Utah's toys or something.
That's you're not wrong. Right, we might have to implement that.
Yeah, the segment will be, what did Utah waste his money on this week?
Yeah. And I'll bring up the little cha-ching sound effect
cha-ching.
every time. Because you just
why is Karen not talking to Utah this week? Because I spent money on this.
That's why. Yeah. All right. So real quick, here we go. Check this out. This is my badge.
Look at you. It says staff.
It does, because I was on the staff. I did video production for it. It was pretty amazing. It's a really great show. This is its second or third year. I can't remember. It's definitely the second.
Very young.
Yeah. It's definitely more than one, but because it was, I know it was last year. But this is the first time I've been, and it was phenomenal. So much fun. Nice. They have a whole arcade with like a bunch of machines in there
that are older than Aaliyah.
Yes. Utah, they did not have the X-Men machine. So for those of you,
what? Oh, come on!
When Utah and I were in college, the X-Men 4-player X-Men two screen. It had 2 screens. Utah, remember how excited we were?
Oh my gosh!
I now have 2 screens sitting on my desk, but there were 2 screens.
We would skip doing laundry at the laundromat for a week. And we'd have like our roll of $10 of quarters and just.
It was 4 players, 4 joysticks and buttons, and you could play as the X-Men and go through this mission. Phenomenal. We loved it.
Yeah.
Did not have that one, but they did have one of my other favorite 4-player.
The Simpsons one?
The Simpsons one. You, of course, know exactly what I was going to say. So that was there. There was a lot of games. They had tons of game vendors. Johnny Cage, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Daniel, I'm going to say his name wrong, Pacina, I believe it is. He was there, so I got to meet him, which was pretty amazing.
That's cool.
Sonya Blade was there, also from Mortal Kombat. Yeah, the because Mortal Kombat, they didn't have the motion capture, like that was actual video of these actors
photo. Yep.
Doing the poses and the fights.
That's cool. So they're the original actors from the video game.
Yeah, I've got some footage. Next week I'll actually show footage. Obviously, I mean I was there from 10 in the morning to 8 at night, and I'm still sore because I'm carrying a stabilizer, Ronin stabilizer. It's a wonder I'm even here. Thankfully, we
fighting Sonya Blade.
You were carrying the gimbal.
Oh yeah, it was crazy. I was so sore getting in the car. I walked, definitely hit my 10,000 steps yesterday, but it was fantastic. And we're gonna have so there were game developers there too, indie game developers. One of them, 2 of them have agreed to come on our show. One of them is going to be here on December 19th. They are Afro Duck Studios, and they're in Columbus, Ohio. And they're working on like an African-based themed RPG, and they had a demo of it there. It's really sweet. The artwork is great. The graphics are awesome. I just started talking to them, and he was like, yeah, we'd love to come on the show and talk about it. So I gave him the link to our calendar, and he signed up before I even walked away from the booth. So they're going to be here in December. So that's fantastic. And then the other one, Utah, is for our live streaming. It's called A Grip of Madness or something like that. It's a 4-player. Imagine Phasmophobia, but you get to mixed with like Call of Cthulhu. And it's like, what's the game? Among Us. So someone becomes the traitor. You don't know who halfway through. Like you start out all doing the same thing. And you're trying to complete a ritual. So at some point, a random player becomes the traitor.
Turns.
And nice. Plus there's a brute and some demon dogs and things in there. Graphics are great. It was really fun to play. I died immediately when the traitor was revealed, but it was fun. But it's like, exactly the kind of game that Matt would be hilarious playing. So we're going to bring Matt
awesome. Yeah, we'll have to
on to play this. And I'm picking on Matt, but no, I mean, it's fun. We love to play the scary games together. And this is a 4-player fun one. So imagine like Dead by Daylight meets,
Phasmophobia meets Among Us.
That's kind of what it is. Yeah, it's fun. Mm-hmm. So they're going to come on later, early next year, because they're still in development. They just brought like some of it. We played a round of it, but it's not complete. When it's closer to being complete, they're going to come on and talk about it. Fabulous. And they both those people were there at the thing. So that was awesome. And then, of course, there was a cosplay contest. And
who won an award?
Who won?
My daughter won the best in show. So I was way to go, nerds. Very proud of her. And I'm telling you, like she's so humble. She doesn't like the attention. She doesn't like me talking about it. So I'm doing it anyway. And
I saw her. I saw her Instagram post, and she looked fantastic.
Check out her Instagram.
She looks fantastic.
I'm going to put it down in the thing here, but yeah, you can see how amazing all of her cosplays
are great. And to see how she's progressed and has gotten better and better at it over the years is incredible.
All right. So that's her Instagram down below. She's an amazing makeup artist. You're going to be blown away by her talent. But, and I'm not just saying that as a dad. I am saying it as a dad, but I'm just, super proud of her.
I'm not saying it as a dad.
She's so good.
Yeah. So, she would probably get very angry if I posted the picture here on the show. So I'll just give you her Instagram. Cool. You can go follow her.
I can't believe she doesn't have more followers.
Yeah. And for the podcast listeners, it's Nurbs Wax, NURBZWAX. And it's like, I feel like I need to whisper, because if she walks around, she's going to come over here.
She'll be like, Dad.
All right. No, I think we're good. Anyway.
She's got a YouTube channel too.
She does. She's super talented. I'm super proud of her. So that was great. Awesome. That was Cleveland Gaming Classic. There's going to be some video footage. I'll show a little bit here next week. We can show a little bit, and then you can follow them, especially if you're from Cleveland, on Facebook. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe somebody would travel from far away to go to this.
People travel for conventions. Come on. I know.
So if you happen to, be nearby and you want to go to that next year, they're on Facebook, Cleveland Gaming Classic. And it's fabulous. So wonderful.
Cool.
Today, however, we have a very special guest. So last week we talked to Shane Salk, who joined us on game night, which was fabulous. And he'll probably never speak to us again because of how it went. You got to go watch it to see that. No, he was great.
He loved it.
He had fun.
Did I make him uncomfortable? He made himself uncomfortable.
I think he
made himself uncomfortable. He admitted it.
But he is an audio drama writer and a producer and actor and all those things. But our theme this month is writing. So we've been talking to writers. Shane was the first one of the month. And tonight we have a writer on, a novelist who has a book out, and a second one, like almost imminent, I believe, is just about
like a month or so. Yeah.
About it. She is very talented. I actually read the first book when she booked with us. So I've already read it. It's great.
I see what you did there.
When she booked, I read the book. Yeah. See how many times I can fit book into that sentence. But her name is Danielle M. Orsino. She has written a book called Birth of the Fae, and she is here with us tonight. Say hello to Danielle. Hello.
Hi, guys. How you doing?
And
Look how gorgeous she looks.
She is fully fade out.
Yes.
She's in full fae.
In full fae, yes. Which is, you look fabulous. We're so glad that you're here. I'm going to have you turn your camera sideways now that we go into this view, because I wanted them to be able to see you. There we go. But yeah, we are grateful that you're here. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
All right. Well, so tell us, let's start with the book. I mean, tell us first, give our audience, because they haven't read it, just an overview, kind of what they can expect from your novel.
Birth of the Fae, Locked Out of Heaven is the first book in the series. So it's basically angels with daddy issues. A bunch of angels are stuck here on Earth after the war between God and Lucifer. And there's two sets: the virtue angels, who were sent here on Earth to prepare the Earth for humans, and then the power brigade, who were actually the ones fighting the war between God and Lucifer. And basically the creator, as they call him, locks the gates and just says nobody's getting back in. So both sets are stuck here with no way of getting home, no reason for being locked out. And they now have to make do with what's going on. And they both kind of have their reasons to blame each other. And so they just have to learn to survive and reinvent themselves. So, they've got some issues with daddy at this point. And then they think of it as what happens when the company shuts down and you don't have a job anymore. What do? Do you get angry with everybody, or do you figure it out?
Interesting. And it's, again, like I said, I read it. And one of the things that I love about it is, like, you have built this kind of world. The world building is, I think, the key to a good book. And you've spent some time, obviously, thinking about this, because it's very vast. Like, there's a lot of characters. There's a lot going on. There's a lot to this world. What was your inspiration? Like, where do you get your inspiration for this world? Like, what did it come from? An amalgam of other sources? Like, it's very unique.
I'll be perfectly honest with you. I fell into this. I didn't set out, I didn't wake up one day and say, oh, today I shall write a book. I'm a writer. I was a nurse. I had a patient who basically needed a distraction while he was undergoing IV treatment. And the story fell from there. He just one day said to me, I don't want to do this treatment anymore. It's taking too long. I don't want to sit in this chair. Do something and keep me in this chair. And from there, I said, okay, tell me something interesting about yourself. And he just said, well, I was recruited by the CIA out of college. And I'm like, oh, we could have found out what was in Roswell, and we could have done this. And we were making all conspiracy theory jokes. And he said, no, it was for the analyst position, which is, he's like the most boring part of the CIA. And we were going back and forth making jokes. And then we were discussing, his disease was Lyme disease. So we discussed a bunch of the conspiracy theories with Lyme. And out of my mouth, and to this day, I don't know what the hell made me say it. I said, well, you know where Lyme really comes from? And he goes, Plum Island. And I said, no, fairies. And he looked at me and said, what? I'm like, yeah, they don't like the way we treat the environment. This is them getting back at us. And from there, he just said, who are the fairies? And I said, angels that didn't get involved between God and Lucifer. And I don't know what made me say it. And the story just orally started coming out of my mouth. So every day he'd sit in the chair and I would tell him another part of it. And I would just make stuff up. Oh, yeah, there was this dark fae king and he didn't like the light fae queen. And we'd go back and forth. I didn't really think about world building in that sense. I was just pulling from my own imagination. And I'm very influenced by comics. So I think that probably had more to do with it. Once I sat down to write the story, a lot of it was him probing me, saying, you need to go write the story. You prodding me, you've got to go write the story. Then I started sitting there and kind of researching virtue angels and the hierarchy of Christianity and things like that. But initially, I think a lot of it, when I told the story out loud, I pulled a lot of it from comics and Star Wars. I was a big, Lucas, I thought, just told stories really well. I think he's just got that talent for good versus evil. It's very clean. Labyrinth, Jim Henson, his Labyrinth, I think is just an amazing story.
Yeah.
So I think I pulled a lot from that. in my head when I told it, but really when it came down to it, I'm a comic book geek. I mean, Jarvok probably was influenced most by Magneto.
Yeah, okay.
So,
I can see that.
You know, a lot of like, I think I'm doing what's right for my kin, whether you agree with me and my methodology, that's on you.
Yeah.
But I'm doing it. So, you know, Aurora's probably got a little Wonder Woman in her. I want to see the good in everybody. Desdemona's, you know, I think I like to joke that, you know, there's a little Harley somewhere deep down in Desdemona. Like any minute she's going to probably lose her mind. You're just not sure when it's going to happen, but there's a ticking time bomb in there. So I think a lot of it just came from comic books, and that's really where my influence was.
Very cool.
Now, Desdemona, so Aurora, for those obviously who haven't read it, Aurora is the queen of the lights of Fae or whatever, and Jarvok is the king of the dark, or the dark side, if you will. But Desdemona, I think, is my favorite character because she's kind of like the captain of the guard, or whether she's never been taken seriously until now. Aurora puts her faith in her, kind of thing. I like those kind of role. I like those kind of characters who are like the kind of misunderstood or you know, but they get their chance to shine, and then they're like the. So I really like that character.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So yeah, tell us a little bit more about like the process of writing it. So it sounds like you know, just kind of fell out during the storytelling. How long did it take to get to the form it is now? Like, how long was the writing process, editing? Like, what was that like?
It was a while. What I did was I would tell him the story, but I wouldn't go back and write it. I just told it to him. And then when he was really like, you need to go sit and write this, I was like, no, I'm going to PA school. I'm not going to go be a writer. Like I want the money. You know what I mean? Like I want a serious job. Like nobody makes money writing. And then I actually went into anaphylactic shock using the meds that I was actually treating everybody with. And I got really sick. And it turned out healthcare was not going to be my job anymore due to this allergy. So at that point I was like, okay, universe is telling me something different. So I sat down to write, and I hand wrote the book. I started out writing one book, and out of it 3 to 4 books came out. Cause I wasn't sitting there going, oh yes, chapter 1. It was more like writing. And then I'm like, oh, they'll probably want to know where this came from. Okay, let me go back and write this. And I would just hop from chapters to chapters and just kept going. Cause I was like, I don't know I have no idea what I'm doing. I mean, when people are like, what is your process? Are you a plotter or a pantser? I'm like, I don't know. I just sit and write. Like I hope, I pray. It's more like I'm a prayer. I'm not a plotter. I'm a prayer. I just wrote it. And then I found a couple editors here and there, but they weren't great. And then I found one that was phenomenal. I met up with Cleet Barrett Smith, and he became my developmental editor for book 1. And he really was like, okay, let's sit down and figure this out. And he read it, and he's like, I think you might be better cutting book 1 in half. He's like, cause it's a long book. And he said, you don't really have the audience for it. You're new. So that's what I did. And that was probably a good 2.5 years from beginning to end.
Wow.
And I went with Icon first to do the first one. And then after a year, the 4 Horsemen found me and was like, you know what? We specialize in fantasy books. And they said, why don't you jump with us? They said, because this is what we do. And so I jumped to the 4 Horsemen, which just seemed apropos given the name. And
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They found me and said, you know, we're going to take the book, we're going to re-edit it, we're going to put out a second edition. And I had always wanted to do a prologue that featured Lucifer, and they were really into that idea. And they said, let's put out a new version of it, re-edit it. Let's add this new prologue with Lucifer and start working on it. And they took it and ran, and they said, let's add your cosplaying to it. So they said, while we like the cover of the first version, they said, let's take your photos of you dressing up these characters and let's put you on the cover. They were like, why are you hiding behind this? And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Why not? Like, I just did it because it helped me to figure out when I was writing, like, Desdemona's cape shouldn't be long. You know, it's like she'll get pulled when she's fighting. You know, like, things like that help.
It's like, so no capes.
Yeah, exactly. No capes. No capes. So they figured it out and they jumped in, and it was really helpful. And they have a different editing process that I like. So we went through it, and I've been with the Four Horsemen since, and we're, you know, kind of marching together on this, and I enjoy it, but I also handwrite everything. So, you know, that's how I start my process.
So I was going to say that that cover.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes. That is me as Lady Serena,
as
our mermaid.
I saw on your Instagram the original shot. It's gorgeous. Mm-hmm. It's really
it is
fantastic.
Yeah, and it's so awesome that that's you. I was it's funny because I was sitting here just trying to figure out which version of the book that I have.
No, that's right, because now there are two editions.
Did I get the full edition? I don't know which one I actually read, so I'm going to have to double check here because now I guess I'm going to have to read it again.
If you don't have a prologue featuring Lucifer, you have the first edition. If you have a prologue, then you have the second edition.
You know what?
That's kind of cool to be such a young, a new author and have two editions of your book. That's pretty cool.
I kind of like it because, you know, it let me. They were cool. The Four Horsemen were really cool because they were like, "Oh, you want to do a prologue? Okay." I was like, "Really?" Because I was like, "Isn't this where you kind of like start strangling me?" And they were like, "No, go do it." And I'm like, "There's got to be a catch to this." I was like, "Wait a minute." They were like, "No, go have fun."
So how long did it take you to build your audience? I know you were saying. I'm still building. It's, I'm on 2 blasphemy lists. So what?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm on 2 blasphemy lists. I currently have a Christian ethics group. I don't know exactly which one because I start tuning them out, petitioning the Vatican to have the book pulled.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I'm threatened on Instagram weekly from people that are like, the book is blasphemous and this and that. I get people that are like,
but it's not real.
Right?
Okay. Well, you know that, like, you're a normal person. You understand that.
It's fiction.
You'd be surprised how many people don't get that little nuance.
Right.
I have people that this is no lie. This was probably the best one I got. Can I please have your home address? Because you're obviously angry with God and we feel we need to send you pamphlets. And my response was, Lucifer has not yet told me what realm of hell we're living in after we're married. As soon as he tells me, I will let you know and send you the address.
Oh my gosh.
So far, he hasn't told me. Once I know where we're registered, I will let you know where to send a wedding gift. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh. He's giving you the cold shoulder? Really? Lucifer of all people?
Yeah, that's where I'm heading. Because I have people that want to send me books about how to repair my relationship with God, but they all want my home address. And I'm like,
yeah, that's crazy.
You get
that's a little much.
A fantasy book, right? Like,
right.
I know angels are not here right now fighting, and they're not really the Fae. Like, right. I do understand this. I don't need medication. I'm good.
Right.
I've never understood that as somebody who is a believer myself. Mm-hmm. I'm like, this is fantasy. This is a fiction book. It's fun. It's like, even, you know, I don't know. I'm just
dressed like a mermaid on the book. I know there aren't mermaids. Like,
that should have been your first clue, right?
My dog is the dragon in the book named Los. It's my Yorkie that inspired Los.
That's awesome.
I know he's not a dragon, but I'm still working on building that audience.
It sounds like you've built up an audience, just a different kind.
Hey, you know, it's funny because whenever you hear these boycott type situations or any kind of like protesting situation, all it does is draw more attention to it. Now people want to know why are they so offended? I'm going to read this book now. So hopefully that helps.
Any publicity is good publicity.
If anything, it helped Harry Potter. Remember, like people were up in arms about that. which Harry Potter is awesome. So
Harry Potter is amazing.
I joke and I'm like, the day that I see the Pope holding up my book in the Pope Mobile, I've made it. If he's got nothing better to do, then,
I'm
going
to make a note. Send copy of book to the Pope.
Exactly. I'm like,
I'm setting a reminder. I'm going to do that next week.
I'm all good. So we're working on building the audience. I think book 2 will bring people back into the fold a little bit because it's less controversial, but I joke with them because I'm like, wait till you see what I do in book 3 and 4 then, if you're really upset. So you want to poke the snake, let's see what really happens. But, I wasn't even trying to offend you before. So we'll see. I mean, I joke because my dad is very religious and I was nervous when I said I was going to write this book. And he was like, yeah, go for it. He's like, go have fun. Like, what's the big deal? And he read it. He listened to the the audiobook, because he was like, I'm not going to sit and read it. Thank you.
Yeah.
I started listening to it this week. And
he loved the audio.
It's really, I'm assuming that you have some say in like who narrates and who reads what, but great choice of narrator because he's fantastic.
He's awesome, right? Oh,
yeah,
Stefan
he's really, really good.
Yeah, they called me, Skyboat Media did it, and they called me after they read the book, and they said, we see you don't have an audio book. We'd like to be involved. And the minute I picked up the phone and heard his voice, I went, oh my God, it's Jarvok calling me. And I giggled a little bit. I was like, oh my God. And I kind of was like, and I held the phone. I went, I was like, would you be Jarvok? He's like, well, I'd like to be. I'm like, yeah, you're him. It's cool. I was like, you got it.
That's
I'm
awesome.
Like, you be Jarvok.
Oh, that's so cool.
They were great. Yeah.
So
really good.
I'm literally on Amazon trying to look on my Kindle on my phone, and I can't log in.
Which
my
edition you have?
not working. Yeah, I wanted to find out what edition. So, and I'm looking on Amazon because the cover that's on, because I have it on Kindle.
Mm-hmm.
The cover that I have it on is the old cover.
So it's not Lady Serena.
I will send you the new one. Okay. I will send you. Well,
I'm looking at the old one now, and it doesn't even have a Kindle version. That's what's making me think maybe.
So I will send you a gift card for the Kindle version of the new one. Okay, I'll take care of you. I'll hook you up when we all.
That's awesome. That's so sweet.
I got you.
Just for clarification, so the audiobook is based on the second edition, then, right?
The audiobook is based on the first one because we had done that before. So I will send you. I'll send you a gift card too. Okay.
No, you don't have to. I was just making sure I was getting the right. Oh no, you're right because it doesn't have a prologue in it, so that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got it.
I'll send gift cards for everybody, and you can all download the Kindles. Okay.
Oh my gosh!
We'll hook everybody up.
It's from the Fae. You get a gift card.
There we go.
Everybody goes to the Vale. Everybody goes to the Vale.
There we go.
Everybody go to the Vale. We're all going to the Vale. Just hop on a dragon. We're all going to the Vale. It's all
there we go.
We're getting on the Yorkie.
Yeah,
get on that Yorkie.
Well, actually, Los doesn't fly, but that's okay. He's not big enough to carry us. We'll jump on Dragor.
Yeah,
we got it.
Los is a little dragon.
Yeah, Los is the little one. Exactly.
So I know you're a comic book fan. When you're describing Los, I'm thinking Lockheed from X-Men. Is that any?
Yeah,
kind of
that was yes. Lockheed was a little bit of an inspiration.
Nice.
So X-Men was my go-to back in the 80s.
Back in the day.
Yeah, it was a Wednesday actually, and the Lockheed and Kitty were two of my favorite characters. So anytime you can incorporate a dragon that is like, small, like the size of your dog, I love that. It was fun.
Yes.
But there are some big, menacing and mean and crazy scary dragons in this as well.
Yes, there are.
Which is pretty cool. But so when is the next book officially going to drop then?
Birth of the Fae, Thine Eyes of Mercy comes out December 20th. The ebook comes out December 1st, but the hardback comes out December 20th.
All right.
Wow,
okay. So
it's coming out.
Any news on the audiobook for that?
We're working on it right now. We're actually getting things put together because I do love me some audiobooks myself. And I'll give you guys a little scoop right now since you were talking about gaming. Hey. We are kicking around a possible mobile app game.
Oh,
that's
involving
cool.
some
That would be
dragons.
neat.
Very
And
nice.
It is based off of a scene from book 1 where Los steals a crystal from the palace.
Yeah.
Yes, and has to fly it back to Bloodhaven.
Oh, so
Oh,
you get to
how
be
cool.
you get to be Los in the
You get
game.
to
You get
fly?
to be Los and then steal the
Oh.
crystal, but you have to
Gotcha.
sneak out of the Court of Light
Right.
and
Oh,
not
how
drop
fun.
the crystal. Can't
That could
drop
be
it,
fun.
and you have
Don't
to get
drop
it
it.
across without the Illuminasca, or Desdemona finding
Anybody
you
finding you?
Yeah.
and get it
That sounds
across
like fun.
the veil.
Yeah.
And then possibly maybe tossing it to some other dragons and playing kind of a game of capture the flag
Yeah.
and getting it across the whole
Oh.
veil.
That's pretty
That-
brilliant cross promotion there. That's pretty awesome.
No, it's great. Yeah. that
And,
would be a lot of fun.
maybe you'd be unlocking a graphic novel or some other things as it happens. You
Ooh.
never
Very
know.
Cool.
That would
Yeah.
So we are in some, developmental discussions right now and doing it because I do want to kind of keep my geek roots, especially with comics and graphic novels, because I think Birth of the Fae is just made for graphic novels. So I'd
Mhm.
like to incorporate them a little bit more.
That'd be
in.
cool to see it in a graphic novel form at some point in the future.
Yes, that's what I'd really like to do is bring it to a graphic novel because I think, like I said, it's just made for that. That's why we've had some of the characters drawn, and even on Instagram, you'll see them drawn up and shown because I think it's putting that thought out there. And we've had people ask, when is it coming out? And Four Horsemen have talked about doing it in a graphic novel. So the thought is out there.
Fantastic.
We've discussed
that's
it. And that
great.
would be, for me, that would be like, yeah, that's what I really want to see is, that comic route come to life.
That sounds cool. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that would be great.
Sorry, I'm trying to find some pictures because we mentioned the fact that you're cosplaying as kind of the Fae right now.
Yes.
But you go all out with some of the characters. You've got some. Tell us a little bit about your how you got started in cosplay. When was that? What was your first cosplay that you did?
You know what? It's funny. I think I've always done Wonder Woman in some capacity. As much as I want to think that I'm 5'11", I'm not. But I've always done Wonder Woman in some way. Yeah. I always say God left the one off on the order form.
That's great.
That's funny.
It was when I
like
was competing in martial arts. I had always wanted to do a musical form as Wonder Woman. So I did it when I was on the US team. I did Wonder Woman, but you can't really dress up as Wonder Woman there. They frown upon that.
They have,
Yeah, they want to keep you in a uniform and all that stuff.
Right.
But I had done some musical forms as Wonder Woman. So then I just moved it to the con circuit. So I'd done Wonder Woman a couple times. But I do love doing Harley Quinn. I think.
Oh, cool.
I want to say I'm Wonder Woman, but at the end, I'm really Harley at heart. So I've done a lot of Harley from Batman the Animated Series. I've done a lot of the Jester of Harley.
Yeah, that's kind of that's my favorite version.
Yeah.
So seeing your pictures are just really, you look fantastic as Harley Quinn.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I love doing Harley. I've done Catwoman a couple times. I've gone to Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con as Catwoman. That was that was fun. I usually stay within the DC realm. I've wanted to do more Marvel, but I haven't quite yet found that Marvel character because it's always like, oh, you should do Black Widow. I'm like, it's expected. Yeah. I've wanted to do Firestar.
Firestar would be awesome.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's been the one that I'm like, if I'm going to do Marvel, I'm going to do Firestar, but I want to do her right. And it's like, I want to figure out exactly how to get that microwave look, that glow that she has. So I've looked at like some LED threads to get it right.
Yeah.
That's kind of like my pinnacle if I'm going to do Marvel. Because it's like, I'm not going to do Dark Phoenix. Once again, it's expected. Not doing that.
Right.
It's like, that's too easy. It's like, okay.
Or Wanda.
No, I'm not doing Wanda. Not that I don't love Wanda. I can't bring myself to do it. It's too expected. Maybe I would do Rogue, maybe, but I'm doing X-Men animated series Rogue if I do it.
There you go.
Yes, from the 90s. Yes,
Which is coming back. Did you hear that?
back.
Yes,
Coming back on Disney Plus.
They announced it. I'm so excited.
I'm down.
It's like a continuation in that style, in that animation style, and everything.
So great.
You see that I'd be down for. I would do Rogue. But I can't find, like I said, Firestar would be where I would go if I'm going to do Marvel. That's where I go. But I usually stay in the DC family. I do Wonder Woman. I've done Batgirl, but Yvonne Craig Batgirl. I've done old Adam West.
Okay.
Yeah.
That style Batgirl, because that just
nice.
Once again, that fits me. If I'm going to do it, that's where I've gone. I've done Gal's version, Linda Carter's version of Wonder Woman when I've done it, and I did Kingdom Come.
Okay.
I did that at a damn, full on. I did actually like a little short on Instagram. It was like maybe a minute of, a little video that way.
Nice.
Cool.
With the sword, did the whole thing.
Nice.
So, I've done, when I do it, I want to kind of go all out when I do them. So,
that's fair.
To me, cosplay, it's a lot of fun. And when you go to the cons, you can always tell who's there to really do it and have a good time, and who's there to just watch. And if I'm going to go, I'm like, let's go. There's one guy, Daywalker, who does Blade, who's phenomenal. And we did like a whole little fight scene.
Oh, that's
when
fun.
I was Catwoman, and he's great. And then there's a great Deadpool when I see him.
Blade was fighting Catwoman. You're crossing the streams. I can't do it.
And that's what was so great. It was as close to Amaglan as I'm ever going to get.
I'm joking. I was just giving Utah a hard time about that the other day.
He was giving me a hard time about crossing streams.
We didn't explode. It was okay. It was good.
It's okay.
But I did have.
There are times where it's
Ryan Reynolds walk past me in a bad Deadpool costume 2 years ago.
What?
Before he went, he was doing I don't know if it was Fox. It was one of the studios when he was doing for his latest movie, not Red Notice, the one before that.
Free Guy?
Free Guy.
Yes. He did the announcement at New York Comic Con. He was walking around in a bad Deadpool costume, walked past me. And literally me and my friends were like, that is like a weird Deadpool. Like he had a robe on, the sombrero, and he was walking with the loofah stick.
The sombrero, yes.
Walks past, and then like 2 seconds later, everybody's phone's going off because he showed up for Free Guy like unexpectedly.
Wow,
those are the best. When the celebrities hit the con floor dressed up and they go incognito, that's the best.
Yeah.
It was I think I was dressed as Poison Ivy at the time, and I'm like, well, I couldn't have just walked over to that Deadpool and just taken a friggin' picture.
Right. Yep.
I'm like, what is wrong with it?
Yep.
And everybody we were standing with was like, that was Ryan. And I'm like, whoa, you just have that moment of like, you can feel your head just ready to explode because you can't figure out that that's who that was just 2 seconds ago.
Yeah,
so I love the cons. Like you just never know what you're going to get there. So I want to go, I can't wait to get back. I didn't go to New York Comic Con because I just moved down to North Carolina. So it was literally the week that I was moving. So I couldn't go. But next year, I'll be back on the floor, dressed as somebody, running around, taking pictures.
Back at Jacob Javits.
Whatever.
Now we got to Utah. We got to go to New York Comic Con. You've gone to San Diego Comic Con many times.
I've been to San Diego Comic Con for a while. Yeah, and yes,
you just
absolutely.
Glossed over that second part there, didn't you?
I don't know what I didn't hear. What was the second part?
you leave me behind. You go to San Diego. I'm like, where's Utah this week? He's in San Diego. You didn't tell. No, Utah.
Wow.
Well, you don't fit in the carry-on luggage, Jeff.
I know. I need to lose some weight. I get it.
I'm willing to put you in check baggage if you want to give that a shot.
All right. No, yeah, but New York Comic Con is closer. Yes. I mean, technically, we could drive there. We could drive to San Diego as well, but it's not.
That would be a lot longer.
Not like there's an ocean in between us, but no, it's a closer
That'd be a road
drive.
trip.
And I've been thinking about that. Like New York Comic Con, like we should totally do that. Like we should.
It's so much fun.
We should make a World Gun Geek road trip.
Right.
Oh,
there you go.
Would you go, Aaliyah?
Absolutely. Yeah. I've always wanted to go to New York.
Yeah.
It's on my
Baltimore
list.
is great too. The Baltimore Comic Con is a lot of fun.
Yeah, Baltimore's good.
Yeah, that's a good one. I met Jason Momoa at New York Comic Con.
Wow.
And
that's cool.
Super nice.
Yeah.
Like, nicest guy. I was blown away with how down to earth and nice he was. Like, I was you
it's always good to hear
photo
that.
ops.
Yeah.
You never know. You never know.
Yeah. You're just like, okay. And I went as Arkham Asylum Harley.
Oh, cool.
And I'm like, okay. And he, like, the minute I walked in, he went, oh my God, somebody's dressed up. And I looked at him, I was like, it's Comic-Con.
Why?
You'd be surprised how many people are coming in just regular dress. Like, I met them off the street. He's like, we're going to take this picture. Like, yeah, we bumped into each other. And I'm literally staring at him like, are you talking to me? Like, what?
Like, yeah.
And he's like, come here, honey, let's take our picture. This is the best part of my day. And I'm still standing there like, you're really big. And I don't know what to do with you. And so he's like, no. And I brought my friend and I had won like the raffle where I got like 2 extra minutes with him,
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And so all she's doing is giggling. She's not saying a word. She's just giggling. And I'm looking at her like, you're making me look so good right now. Thank you so much, Laura. And he's like, and he looks at her, he's like, and how are you? And she literally went like this. And I was like, oh, this hurts.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So and he's like, come on, girls, like get in close. And I said, oh, if I get in any closer, I'm going to get makeup on your shirt.
Makeup.
He pulls his shirt down. He goes, do you know how many of these I own? And Laura just goes like this. Oh my God. And I was like,
I thought you were going to say, well, let me take it off then. And he just took off his shirt.
I think if we had asked, he would have done it.
Oh,
he
that's
flipped
so
his
funny.
hair up and he went, let's go.
Oh,
Hugged
wow.
us. She's giggling and I'm like, I just
What
got
is
this look
going on?
like,
Yeah.
I'm just like, so much
But
for
what a
looking
great
cool.
picture, right?
He didn't like the first one.
You got to take another one?
He goes, I don't like it. And Laura's going, he doesn't like it. And I'm like, and so the people are like, Mr. Momo, we need to move this along. He goes, I don't like it. We're doing it again for them. And I'm like, he don't like it. Like,
Oh, great. Oh, wow.
he's like, girls, get in closer. And Laura goes, he said closer. I'm like, she's going to pass out. I'm like,
oh, that's so great.
He got in real close. He literally picked us up. I'm like, I got the cane. I'm like, my life ain't so bad. I'm a happy camper. She's ready to pass out. We take the picture and I go, look, I said, my boss wouldn't give me today off unless I gave you this present. So he looks at me and I watch my language. He goes, are you serious? I said, yeah. And he goes, so somebody's like hurrying us. And he finally goes, enough, to the person. And I was like, dang, okay. So he goes, give it to me. So I go, it's a necklace. He goes, aren't managers? And then he used a certain word and he goes, they're such. And I went, yes, they are. He goes, tell him you gave it to me, sweetie. Don't worry about it. And I went, yes, Aquaman. Because I just didn't know what else to say. I was just like, Aquaman spoke to me. And he goes, you have a good day, honey. And I was like, awesome. Okay. And then he goes, what are you doing? At the time I was personal training. I said, oh, I'm a personal trainer. He goes, I was doing javelin throws to get my body ready for Aquaman. And I'm like, okay.
Uh-huh.
Once again, I'm like, I don't know why we're having this discussion because like, I can't help. And then he just starts going on about his workout for Aquaman. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, so then and he just starts talking to me about his workout. And I'm like, really? Okay. Uh-huh. And he's like, so I'm surfing. And when I'm paddling, you know what I do? I actually scoop. And I'm like, sure. And he just talked to me for like 5 minutes. Meanwhile, they're rushing him. And he's like, I'm not done talking. And I'm like,
that's so great.
Well, have a great day. He's like, and you too. He's like, thank you. And I'm like, no, thank you. Because I'm like, I don't know what to do here. Like, and we just went about our business. And my friend the whole time giggling. And she's like, he was nice. I'm like, how the hell would you know? You were giggling.
Did she remember any of it at all?
And she just walked out of there she grabbed that picture so quick. And then she's like, you can get the copy up front. I'm like, I can get the copy. She goes, yeah, copies up front. She took the original, walked right out. I was like,
oh, that's funny.
I'm like, I won the lottery. She goes, yeah, but you invited me. And I'm the guest.
Wow.
Trotted right out of there. I was like,
I think that's the case. So many of these, like we go to Wizard World here, Utah, and I have, we did a photo shoot with Bruce Campbell.
Was
and,
who?
yeah. And that was, it's not the celebrities that are rude. It's the staff.
It's the photo
that are
people.
there trying to hurry it along. And I know they've got a job to do and they've got hundreds of people to get through. Mm-hmm. So I'm not picking on them, but at the same time, it's like, they want to make a little conversation. And it's just my daughter and I did one with Millie Bobby Brown when she was in town because we'd both just shaved our heads for St. Baldrick's to raise money for pediatric cancer. And my daughter, so she was bald. So she went as 11. Like she was dressed as 11 and then they announced Millie was going to be there. And I'm like, oh, okay. I wasn't going to buy it. It's just too expensive. Mm-hmm. The only reason, I did it with Bruce Campbell because we could split the cost, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. But I'm like, okay, this one's all on me. It's my daughter. So let me,
of course.
But I'm like, oh, I got to do it. I mean, she's going as 11. And
you had, and you dressed up too.
I was Hopper. Yeah. So, so just as an example of the two, what you just said there, we were standing outside. We had a booth there for a charity that we do Extra Life. And so I was there as a booth person, and booth personnel, we can come up to the front of the line and get in. And I was like, they'll just kind of throw us in. And so we were told to stand at this one spot, and we stood there. And the line is all the way over, kind of lined up next to us. And we're standing at the rope off to the side and just waiting to find out what's going to happen. As we're standing there, somebody walks behind us and says, "Hey, 11." And Rachel and I turn around, and it's her as she's walking by to go into the photo booth. And as she's going to the curtain, she just kind of waves like, "Hey," just really cool. I mean, she was just being nice, right? We get in there to take the photo, and they're like rushing us through. They won't even let us, they won't let you bring in the Eggo container. I get that because of promotion. Like they wouldn't do that. Sure. So we had to leave that out there. But they were just like, get in here, get it done. She was like this pointing at us. Like she was really cool about it. But, obviously she's like nice and willing to engage with people, but they're just like, move along. And it was just, So we felt really uncomfortable, like even saying something when we walked in. It was really awkward. But we got a great picture with her. But it's just, again, I'm not knocking them. I know they have a job to do, but
exactly. They have a job to do, and I get it. And I'm sure people are very rude to them who feel entitled to because they're I paid for this picture. And, so I get that it kind of cuts both ways. But sometimes you're like, look, I'm not being rude to you. Like I got up there and I was waiting to go, and I was like, "Hi, how are you?" to, the handlers. And they literally looked me up and down and were like, "Excuse me." I'm like, well, this is like part of it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
It's part of the experience.
He was not expensive. I only paid $75.
That's not expensive at all.
No. And
he's like double, triple that now.
Right. Mm-hmm. And this was when Aquaman first came out. So,
you got,
I was, I was happy. And like I said, I won this little lottery thing to where the following 2 years later, when Endgame came out, Paul Rudd wanted $400.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look, I love me some Paul Rudd. Don't get me wrong.
Right?
Ant-Man.
Hey, I think we all love me some Paul Rudd.
Yes.
We all love, hey, he's what? He's this year's sexiest man alive, right?
I'm secure in my masculinity, but I love me some Paul Rudd.
I love me some
$400.
Not for $400.
I can't afford $400.
If we all split it, maybe.
Because I'm like, I know it's not him. It's more the Javits Center and everything.
Yeah. Exactly. It's all Reed Pop and
Oh my gosh. Yes. And I have a quick story about that. So I'm suddenly blanking on his name. This happens a lot lately. But he played Herschel in The Walking Dead. Can't think of his name.
Yeah. William.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Anyway, played Herschel in Walking Dead. He was at Wizard World that we were at. I had my 3 daughters with me, and we were just, it was towards the end of the last day. We took a break from the booth, and we were, kind of walked over to where they had all the celebrity, tables, and, they have these signs up there, and it's like, $50 for a selfie, all these prices. And as we're walking by, it's not very busy at all anymore. People are just kind of like, milling around. It's Sunday evening. And as I walk by the paper has the $50 scratched out and 20 written in with a pen. And I was like, it's only 20 for Herschel. Like, that's Herschel. Let's go. Like, we were huge Walking Dead fans with Scott Wilson. That's his name. We loved his character. Like, I'm like, it's only $20. Let's go do it.
Yeah.
Totally worth it.
The people at the booth were like, took the money, and they were, and we're thinking we get like 2 seconds with this guy. Right. We go over, and he's like you, sort of like you described Jason Momoa. He's so gracious. Like, this guy is like, hey, he gets that. Like, we enjoy his art, and we're here as fans. And he literally, he gave like, as we were leaving, he gave my daughters hugs. He was talking about their cosplay. Libby was Legolas from Lord of the Rings, because she was long blonde hair at the time.
Elf. Yep.
And Hannah, I don't remember. She was a Pokemon. I think
she go as a Pokemon.
It was, or was Rachel? Rachel was a Pokemon. I don't know. Anyway, but
Hannah was
he's complimenting on them, and then he hugs each of them, and he turns to me, and he puts his arms out, and I'm like, I'm about to hug Herschel. Like, I'm like, this is amazing. And he gives me this big old hug, and we just chatted for a few minutes, and he was just the nicest guy in the world. And from what I understand, like, he went out there and changed the price, because he's like, this is ridiculous that they're charging this much to come talk to me. Like, the celebrities aren't into that. They're paid to get there.
Yeah,
like,
they
get paid regardless. Yeah,
they got their money, right?
So I think some of them are like, okay, this seems excessive.
It's a little ridiculous, yeah.
Right.
You're there as a fan. You just want to have the interaction, and I think sometimes it gets lost in all the fanfare of also the con itself, because let's face it, Comic-Con is now something that it was never what it was, what it is now.
It's very different than its intention from the beginning. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, now you got to be fan verified and all this other stuff. It used to just be that we went, we had our fun. I mean, I kind of feel like it's now like the geeks kind of own the popular spot on the table in the cafeteria. It's now cool to be a geek.
Right.
Yeah.
And
that's a good way of putting it.
It's a little different than the feel of what it used to be. And now it's become obviously a moneymaker and stuff. God knows that I'm the first one for the Alex Ross gallery for my lithographs. I am there so quickly. Here's my money. Take it. You don't have to twist my arm. Give me my lithographs.
Right.
I have my places where I go, Artist Alley, all that stuff. It's changed a lot. But I'm still there every year. I'm still giving them, and the price keeps going up. Even Repop, the way they handled it this year with COVID, there was no refunds. So if you got COVID, it's like, well, too bad, you're not getting your money back. And it's like, okay, how safe are we being? It's a polarizing subject on a lot of things. But it's like, you have these fan experiences, you need to make it a little more accessible. I mean, look, if Gal Gadot is there, here's my $300. Okay, just take it. Like, here's my arm, go, I'm good. But once you start hitting that $500 mark, I'm not paying even for Gal, I'm not paying $500. Even for Robert Downey, I'm not paying $500 to be rushed for a picture of both of us sticking our hands out like we've got the Iron Man glove on. No. I'm not doing it because you just taken my money. So I think sometimes it gets lost in some of that, and you kind of want that camaraderie of the con back.
Right.
For us. Because sometimes we're walking around and it's like, I can't even move. I mean, like, I will never wear a cape costume to Javits Center again. I went as Raven 1 year. I made that mistake once.
They get stepped on all the time.
That dress was off of me so fast, and I had the hood. I had the whole. I thought I was looking hot. My friend was like, it was getting stepped on left, and I was getting yanked back. And finally, I was like, oh, geez, I gotta go. I'm like, I gotta leave. I said, I can't. I'm like, I can't do this. And then they had, the guys with the cosplay is not consent thing. And I'm like, I'm like, all right, you guys are making this so much worse than it needs to be. Cause I'm like, I could come in here dressed as Vampirella, and most of the geeks and the cosplayers won't care what I'm dressed as. But you running around with a big sign that says cosplay is not consent following me around is making me feel.
Yeah.
Brings more attention to it.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, I think sometimes the cons, like, we're getting a little carried away with this stuff. Just let us go and let us take pictures. That's what we really, I want to take the picture with the guy dressed as Thanos, who goes he's been going every year, who looks like awesome. That's who I want to take the picture with. I don't care about the rest of this. Just let me go. Let me get my Alex Ross prints and I'm out.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Nope, not at all.
I'm here for my
Nothing wrong with that at all.
Well, that's fair. If next year, if God, help us, if COVID is finally at least distant enough, or I guess word I'm looking for, not as
under control,
not as rampant. Yeah.
Well, if it's under control and the conditions are safe enough.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I'll have a booth.
I wanted to point out my wife.
That would be cool.
My wife's got my back here.
Scott Wilson.
But I didn't look at it until in time. But yeah, she got my back.
I will have a booth and you guys can come visit me. And I will
have if you have a booth, I'll be there.
That would be
I would go to New York Comic Con for you. Absolutely.
I will let you know, and I will be in full Fey regalia at that booth, and
cool.
doing that, because that's my dream, is to see cosplayers as my Fey characters running around.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Like, have you had fan art? Anybody do stuff like that yet?
I've had some fan art. I've had people ask me, have you thought about cosplaying like with fans? And I've said that what I'd love to do eventually is do a calendar with cosplayers as my characters.
That's a cool idea.
That's what I really love to do, is to kind of bring that cosplay community in, because I'm a cosplayer. I mean, this is, everything that I've done. So I'd really like to bring it back kind of full circle and have other cosplayers. I want to see somebody as Jarvok. I want to see somebody as Zion, as Asa, as my dark Fey characters, as my light Fey characters. I want to see them walking around the con floor. And I'd eventually like to do a calendar of other cosplayers as these characters and see what their interpretations are. Because I think that would be really, really cool. Just kind of see where they take it, because I can only go so far with it. They're my characters. Right. So obviously I have a certain, aesthetic, a certain feel toward them.
Sure.
But somebody else could totally come up and be like, no, I see her this way, or I see him this way. Yeah, man, go crazy. What do you think the kyanite armor that the Dark Fae wear looks like? I would love to see, an celestial blade. What do you guys think it looks like? Yeah, that would be awesome. And I'd like to pay it back to the community, because they've been super supportive of the book. And I think it'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic.
Well, tell folks where they can find more information, where they can get a hold of the book and all that kind of fun stuff.
You can always check me out on Instagram at birthofthefay_novel, or check it out at birthofthefay.com. And then you can find the book at barnesandnobles.com, amazon.com, or check out the audio at audible.com. And then book 2 comes out in December. And the book two is called Birth of the Fae, Thine Eyes of Mercy. And it takes place in Tudor England. So we go from beginning of time with book 1 to what the Fae are up to in Tudor England. And we have a whole new set of villains in book 2.
Sounds interesting.
Yes, it does.
Yes. I've taken, instead of going with King Henry or Queen Elizabeth, we go with Queen Mary. And Bloody Mary.
Nice.
And we see how the Fae have gotten involved with humanity a little bit differently this go round, and what the aftermath of war has been between the two faith factions.
Interesting.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's a different.
Yeah.
I learned a lot about Tudor England and what the protocols are. I took a class in English, in Tudor England protocol, and how they eat.
Wow.
Just to find out, like, yeah, apparently you don't sit. You have to bathe your hands in rose water to show everybody at the table that you are clean.
Really? Wow.
Yes, I did not know that. I know that now, though. So, yes, and they all had their own utensils in a pack that they wore on their hips.
They carried
their own utensils.
Oh.
So they were prepared for COVID before
They
COVID
sure
was a
were.
thing.
They were
ready for, yeah.
Yes.
They were always ready for COVID, apparently. They carried their own utensils, and it was mostly a spoon and knife. It was not a fork.
Really?
I wish I knew that before I went to medieval times way back in the day.
Yeah, medieval time, they ain't got nothing on us. But yeah, I've learned a lot. Yes, they took their napkins and they put it over their left shoulder.
Huh.
Yeah, that's all the aristocrat, like all the upper class. Yeah. Yes, I've learned a lot about it. Tudor England.
So where was this class?
I took it online.
That's very cool.
I did. And straight from the UK to kind of get it right. That whole that show with the Tudors, totally false.
Tudors.
Yeah, totally false.
Of course it is.
They were all pretty to look at, but no, that was not right.
That's not really how it was.
No, believe it or not, that's not how it was. Jonathan Rhys-Meyers looks really good as King Henry, but
No, that's not how it was.
No, that's not how it went. I don't know. TV did me wrong on that one. Surprisingly, that wasn't true.
Go figure.
You're waiting for them to hand you your silverware and they all have it in their pockets.
Yeah, don't sit. Don't sit. You got to wait till you bathe your hands first and show everybody you're clean. But yeah, so it's interesting. Book 2 is ready to go, and then we'll move from there. But I have a bunch ready, and the Fae are all set for everybody to see where they're going to take it and go. So I'm excited.
Very cool.
Awesome.
The closest thing to Tudor knowledge for me is that my neighbor across the street has a Tudor house. That's it. That's all I got.
That's okay. I'll take that. That was about as much knowledge as I had before I started this. So we're right there. Don't worry about it. It's
awesome.
all good.
Good.
And my favorite Tudor is Tudor's Biscuit World, which is a restaurant that you can find in West Virginia.
In West Virginia.
Would know what I was talking about.
Oh my gosh.
What is that?
What is
Beach
that?
Fork. No, you went to Beach Fork? Okay, we're going to reminisce about West Virginia. Anyway, Tudor's Biscuit World, man. They're the best. They make biscuit sandwiches like at all times of the day. It was awesome.
Literally.
Just the fact that it's named Biscuit World. You can't go wrong with that, right?
My dad made homemade biscuits and gravy today and just decided to send me a bunch of pictures of it.
Just pictures?
Just
That's
pictures.
cruel.
That's cruel.
That's cruel. That's really...
Yeah.
It was. Anyway.
Well, Danielle, thank you so much for being on the show this week. We appreciate it. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. I really did love the book. And you've got me hooked now. I want to find out what's going to happen next, especially what you said is coming. So I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully I'll get, I may have to read the new version or the new edition before December 1st, if that's when the Kindle version's coming out. But, I'm on that. So
no problem. I'll hook you up. We're all good. Right.
So before we go, though, we have a segment that we're going to do here.
Oh, that's right.
Back when Utah and I first started this podcast, this is something that we wanted to do.
That was back before electricity, was it? I don't remember.
Yeah. It was before Aaliyah was born. And basically, it never happened because I had this weird idea that people were just going to listen to our podcast. And so therefore they would send stuff in. Turns out, you need to get about 50 episodes in like we are before people start paying attention to what you're saying. And even that is not a ton of people, but we appreciate every last one of you.
Every one of you.
Yes. No, I mean, I really do. I appreciate all the people who are listening. All one of you who's watching us live right now, unfortunately.
Maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah. More people listen to the podcast, but we appreciate you and thank you. So what we want to do is give you a voice on the show as well. It's our 90-second geek rant is what it's called. And right now
it's time for the 90-second geek rant.
That's right. I even had a sounder made up for it all that time ago, and I finally get to use it on a show. Here we are. So what it is we've got a SpeakPipe link out there where you can actually speak your mind. We want to hear your hot take on some kind of issue going on in pop culture today. Maybe you read a book that was really awesome. You want to recommend it to other people. Maybe you heard us say something about a movie that we love. Maybe you heard me say that Die Hard is a Christmas movie and you want to tell me it's not. You can jump on there and speak your mind. We will select a few and we're going to let you have a moment at the end of the show. We'll talk a little bit about it. I tell you though, if you come at me about Christmas, I'm going to talk afterwards. Like I get the last word. That's the rule on the show though, because I have the control of the board here. So I can play your audio and then just go off. So no, I won't do that.
Just mute you.
Yeah. But no, we want you to go ahead and do that. So that's at speakpipe.com/worldgonegeek. So you can just go there, speakpipe.com/worldgonegeek. And there it is on the thing down there. You can see it if you're live with us now.
Look, there it is.
You can go there and leave your message. So we're going to play one today. This is from Katie. We're going to find out what she has to say. And here's Katie's 90-second geek rant.
Something that I've been geeking out over recently is the book, The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. In it, she explores alien races, human-AI relations, and cultures in post-Earth societies in an extremely refreshing way. I could go on and on about how unique and well-developed the alien races are, from the scaly reptilian andrisks and the complexity of their family structures to the slug-like Harmogians who, despite their physical weakness, use their highly advanced technology to wage war and decimate other species. The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet follows Rosemary Harper, a new human member of the multi-species crew aboard the Wayfarer, a junky old tunneling ship. Aboard the ship, Rosemary struggles to find her place among her peers as she tries desperately to keep them from finding the truth about her past. I don't want to spoil anything, but all I can say is that I love this book and the two sequels, A Closed and Common Orbit and Records of a Spaceborne Few. I cannot recommend it enough. Please check it out.
Awesome.
Okay, Katie.
You guys read that book?
If that's your real name, Becky? No, I'm just kidding.
Katie. Her name's
it's
Katie.
not Becky? You sure?
Yeah. And so she is she's recommending that book. Since, like I said, this was a segment we wanted to do long ago. So she sent this in way back then. So it's finally coming on. I'm gonna have to let her know that it's fine. She can finally listen to the show now because
Katie, we heard you.
But no, yeah. So I actually started reading that book after she recommended it way back. It is very good. My wife actually had already read it when I told her about it. She was like, "Yeah, I read that." So it's actually really good. And that was 72 seconds. Katie, is perfect. You got it in 90 seconds. So you can see you can get a lot out in 90 seconds. You get a chance to really speak your mind there. But if you want to do the same, if you want to give us your recommendation for books, movies, or just a hot take on something in pop culture, there's the link at the bottom. It's in the show notes for you guys listening on the podcast, speakpipe.com/worldgonegeek. We want to hear from you. And that's going to do it for our show this week. Danielle, thank you so much again for being here. It was a pleasure to talk to you.
It was a pleasure, Danielle. Thank you so much.
Yes.
As I said, though, our theme this month is writers. So we got another writer coming on next week. His name is Riley Toon. He has written some books. He loves geeky stuff too. He's got some superhero books that he's written and some other stuff. He's going to come and geek out with us next week as we continue season 2 of World Gone Geek. We thank you guys for listening because we couldn't do it, or we could do it without you, but it wouldn't be as fun. So thank you for listening.
No, it wouldn't.
I mean, I didn't know what I'm supposed to say there, but No. We're grateful that you listen. We appreciate it. We want to make sure that you're following us on all of our social medias. That's basically everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, at World Gone Geek. We're all those places. Please check us out. We'll see you guys hopefully next week with Riley. No game night this week. We're doing every other weeknight, but we hope to see you next time. Thanks so much for being here.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
The Podcast is Real is a World Gone Geek production.